All right, we are live. Beautiful people, amazing patriots across this incredible nation. We have something that just happened. Hold on to your seats. The GOP just secured the House. It was just called. Trump and the Republicans and the GOP now control all three levers of power: the House, the Senate, and the White House in DC. I'm pretty sure meltdown protocols are about to be initiated across the entire Democratic Party because this is quite literally what we call the worst case scenario for the Democrats and the best case scenario for the GOP. Now, everything's going to be linked in the description box below. I can't wait to hear what you guys think. And of course, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on because this is a momentous day. And I'm also going to walk you through not only the benefits, but the potential pitfalls here. And the content today is brought to you by our sponsor, SDI. I know a lot of you guys like to upgrade and modify your own guns, so why not do it for a career? You can turn that hobby into something that you actually enjoy doing and get paid. There's a link in the description box below. You can do all online courses that ship directly to your door. You can do gunsmithing, ballistics, woodworking and finishes, shooting, sports management, anything you can imagine, including drones. And you can actually make money doing it once you get everything that they offer you. Link in the description box below, and thank you to them for making this possible. All right, people, as we come in here, make sure we got a 5x5 because this legitimately is the best case possible. The House, the Senate, and the White House. You have the executive bureaucracies. You have the judicial. You have the House for bills. You have the Senate for bills. You have the filibuster still in place. You have everything, judicial nominations, everything is full on red. You did that. So anybody who says it wasn't possible, look what you just did. You, not us, not me, not anybody else, you guys. You grinded. You induced the 5 stages of grief. Quite literally, you just did that. But let me show you this because this is so crucial, and we are only getting started, baby, because we are about to push our rights forward, our gun rights forward. It's about to be a thing if we watch out for the pitfalls. But first, I'm going to show you the benefit here. Decision Desk HQ projects Republicans will retain the U.S. House majority. Now, the number, like the final number, is actually yet to be ascertained. But we're at a position now where the data provider Decision Desk HQ has projected on Monday that President-elect Donald Trump's Republican Party won a majority in the U.S. House of Representatives. That's a big deal, people. That's a really big deal, and it won't let me actually highlight here for some reason. I don't know why. Whatever. So you know the Republicans have already secured the U.S. Senate majority, at least 52 of 46 seats, at least. So that's above the rhino threshold of like Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski. So we've got that. We're going to touch on that in a second. During his first presidential term in 2017 to 2021, Trump's biggest achievement was sweeping tax cuts that are due to expire next year. The legislation that Democratic President Joe Biden's signature $1 trillion infrastructure law both came during periods when their parties control both chambers of Congress. So what you're seeing here is when you have the full control, House, Senate, and presidency, you're going to get something. You're going to get one of your main things. And Trump has already promised that the national reciprocity is going to be a thing. So guys, buckle up. The time to go to sleep is not now. It is time to grind. And Reuters is having a stroke right now. Not important. Doesn't matter. All right. So now, let me walk you through a few of the other pieces here. CBS News, Congress returns to Washington as GOP prepares to take control. Guys, you have to understand where we're going on this. From a standpoint of obstruction that the Democrats were ready to do in the House, that was the last line of defense. That was the last bastion of defense. They were going to do impeachments to slow Trump down. They were going to do obstructionist actions to slow Trump down. Because now, with Johnson as the Speaker, none of that gets pulled up into the forefront. None of that will interrupt what's going on with Trump and his bills and all that. You still have to worry about rhinos, which we're going to get to in a second. But let me show you what we just avoided and what you're going to see a lot of in the future. And this is something that I got to put on Do Not Disturb because I will be so distracted. All right. So as we go into this, there you can see it's still going that way. CBS has not said they've called it, but they've called it. Anyway. This is one thing that you're going to see a whole lot of as the Democrats are trying to find a way to get something to go, some momentum, some way to stop everything. You're going to see a lot of discharge petitions. We saw a lot of this when they were talking about the last term, or last 2-year term from Congress under Biden. Discharge petitions are literally pulling a bill from the committee by getting a majority of the House. So in order to prevent Speaker McCarthy or Speaker Johnson from pulling bills or putting bills in committee and leaving them there, they're going to try to pull them out of committee that the Democrats are going to want to control. They're not going to control the committees, but the point is they're going to try to pull them out. that won't happen. But you're going to hear a lot of discharge petition requests. You're going to hear a lot of it coming out from the Democrats. The other thing that you're going to hear a lot of, Congressional Review Acts. It was enacted to strengthen congressional oversight of federal agencies' rules. CRA requires federal agencies to submit a report on each new rule to both houses of Congress and the GAOs. That part doesn't matter. So, Congressional Review Acts, you may have heard those a lot as well. Republicans attempted to use them. They're a big con game for basically the population and the electorate. So what Congressional Review Acts are is how you attack the rulemaking process that the executive bureaucracies make that go against your party. We did a lot of this when it came down to the gun control moves that came from the ATF and the DOJ. Congressional Review Acts were pulled forward by people like John Cornyn, who said, we're going to do a Congressional Review Act to get the rules pulled out from who's engaged in business, even though we passed it because I'm John Cornyn and I'm a traitor. That's what you're going to hear a lot of. Now, the only catch is Congressional Review Acts have to pass the House, they have to pass the Senate, and they have to be signed by the president who put the rule in place. So this is literally a con game. You're going to hear Democrats use that a lot for that very purpose. Now, the last thing that they are not going to be able to do, and they were going to try to do, was they can't use impeachment anymore because they don't have the Speaker. So if you don't have the Speaker of the House and you don't have the Majority Leader in the Senate, you cannot do any of the obstructionist tactics of which they did in Pelosi's term, the second part of Trump's term. So impeachment is now off the table. So you're going to attempt to hear impeachment, but you won't really because it's not realistic. You're going to hear Congressional Review Acts, and you're going to hear a lot of discharge petitions. Lots of stuff like that is going to happen. They're going to make a big bluster about it. The media is going to pick it up, but nothing will happen from that perspective. Now, what you really got to worry about, and this is the part that actually does have a matter here. When you're looking at the congressional power, the GOP has a few rhinos in there. And the majority, if it truly is, it was down there. Where'd it go? It doesn't matter. I'll just pause this. If the congressional majority for the Republicans is truly 2, 3, 4, 5 people, you've got to overcome all the rhinos that are inside the Republican Party, which are going to get in the way. The Democrats are going to attempt to pick off the rhinos in order to stall the Trump administration's legislative agenda. That's absolutely going to happen. That's why it's so important that we remain active. Put a lot of pressure on Republicans because Democrats are going to be wheeling and dealing behind the scenes to get those rhinos to flip. People like in California Republicans, New York Republicans, New Jersey Republicans, they're going to be targeted. People like Brian Fitzpatrick in Pennsylvania, who will willy-nilly sign on to assault weapons bans and anything under the sun, he's going to be targeted. They're going to get real important real fast because the Speaker Johnson is going to have to make sure that they are in line, and I don't know if he can actually do that. But let me jump into this really quickly on the comments over here. So we got the House. We did get the House. S. Burr says, do not squander this opportunity. I'm going to set up camp on that for a second. Excellent point. Do not squander this at all. In fact, I'm going to go even larger here for a second. We'll come back to this. You have an opportunity as the constituents of the GOP and the gun rights and everything that we've held the line on for 4 years. I did a video about this. You have an opportunity to grind. Let no one throw ice water on this. You won. You absolutely delivered the entire nation to the right. We've covered that in a couple of videos now. What you have an opportunity to do is keep pressure on the House of Representatives and keep pressure on the Senate. You guys have already pissed them off in the Senate about the whole Senate Majority Leader thing. We covered that as well. It's one thing to get them there. The second thing is to hold their feet to the fire. This is when we grind and we push the football back to the other side of the field. Gun rights, First Amendment rights, red flag laws are on the table. National reciprocity is on the table. Education stuff's on the table. That's a big deal. Now, let me show you what else. The other thing that's going to happen from the Trump administration pretty much en masse very quickly, and we're going to cover it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. They're going to start leveraging the executive bureaucratic power. They're going to start using the executive actions and orders directly from the White House very, very quickly. Okay, you're going to see a lot of the ATF rules get smoked. You're going to see a lot of the DOJ rules get smoked. A lot of the Biden executive orders are going to get smoked. They're going to get smoked very quickly, which is where the Congressional Review Act comes into play. We stay positive, we stay focused, and we grind for our freedom, we will leave it in a better place than the Democrats left it. I guarantee you that. We're about to be on the cusp of really pushing a lot of stuff forward. All right, back to the content in the chat over here. Brandon Herrera for ATF Director. He's actually made a lot of posts about that. It's hilarious. You're doing a good job. Thank you. Hey, I appreciate you guys. This is a major win, James. That is correct. James, see, I told you. I recognize James' name. We've been doing this for about 3 to 4 years together, James. I know you're younger from a standpoint of what you said prior. You have to understand where we're taking this in your early age. This is a big deal. This is a big deal. Just throwing that out there, just because I know him from his comments. America coming back. That's absolutely correct. Winning, absolutely, we're winning. All the Dim's phone calls should be made public on the internet. Oh, if I got them, I would post them. Oh, if I had them, I would post them. It's worth the fight, guys. That's absolutely correct. Yeah, we have like 218 seats in the House. James, as of right this second, with some races still to call, they have 218. The point is they have clinched power. Speaker Johnson will now be the speaker again underneath the Trump term. Now, what that means in the actual conclusion, like what are we going to get from it? Don't know yet. But we do know that Hakeem Jeffries will not be the speaker. He will not be a opposition roadblock, and the bills will actually get to the floor. Now it comes to the Republicans. Can you actually get them to vote for the things you want? That's an incredibly important piece. No rhinos. I agree completely. I'm just going to kind of check up on the chat, make sure you guys are good. Good, thank God. Yeah, that would have been a pain in the butt if the House didn't go red. But again, just to give you guys a frame of reference, it was the best case possible scenario if the Republicans took the House, the White House, the Senate. And they did it. You did it. Just saying, don't let them forget that, because that is all on you guys. All right, cool. So the chats are pretty good. Kash Patel is supposed to be head of the CIA. I don't know that one. I heard little rumblings of the executive orders. One more thing I wanted to hit on really quickly. I might do another video on this, but since I got you, here, guys. Marco Rubio has been tapped for the Secretary of State position. So what that means is that pulls a senator who is kind of establishment, kind of rhino-y in his gun rights support out of the Senate into a basically foreign diplomat state. And then you've got someone that Ron DeSantis gets to appoint. So now Ron DeSantis, who is a very solid based governor, is going to appoint a senator. And then they're going to run for re-election, and they'll probably be there forever. They're talking about names like Byron Donalds. All sorts of people are going to come up. But this is a big one. If you get that senator in there and replace a weaker one with a stronger one, that's a hell of a thing too. We have the House, the Senate, and the presidency. This is a massive opportunity. That's exactly right. Braden, did you put that petition for the Senate together yet? I actually just framed it. I will have it out today. The problem is I had a problem with my website, so it's only going to be up for like 12 to 15 hours, but I will show you that in the next one, yes. Keep Cornyn out of the speaker position. Abso-freaking-lutely. Yep, Kristi Noem, I think she was Homeland Security. I can't remember exactly all these things. What's Ron doing? Ron DeSantis is going to get to appoint Marco Rubio's replacement in the Senate. That's how it's going to work. Someone said, I still think Rubio's a mistake. This is the interesting thing, Slim Pickens, and I'll kind of conclude on this. If you get Marco Rubio, and he may not be the best Secretary of State, he's no longer involved in the legislative process. He's kind of a rhino-y establishment. If he's out of the Senate, Ron DeSantis isn't really rhino establishment. He's a little bit more neutralized towards the middle, but he's not really establishment. You put someone in who's very strong on our ideals in the Senate place through a governmental appointment or a governor appointment, yeah, that's a win. That's a win. Nicola, I just mentioned the petition for the Senate. I just did that. Laura Trump is being floated for the Senate position also. Yeah, and I'll keep, once I have a short list, I'll walk you through all of these things. This is an interesting piece. Like if Laura Trump gets in it, that'd be fascinating. I have not seen if Ron Paul is being placed anywhere. Now do something. I completely agree. A good memory, part of the Gang of Eight. Very good memory, Trinoculus. Yeah, he was, but now he's out of the legislative process. So that actually, to me, is a benefit. This is a good question, Ice Cold. Does the rule stay in place for the House if one person doesn't like the position? Yes, what he's talking about is the actual requirement for the speakership. So if you guys are familiar, they changed the rules under McCarthy when the Republicans had a little bit of a revolt 2 years ago. They changed the rules in the House that said if one person doesn't like how you're leading the House, then they can basically say, I want to challenge your speakership, and it has to be a vote of the entire population again. They have not changed those rules. That was an excellent question, Ice Cold. They have not changed that yet, and it looks like they have not messed it up yet. Alaskan Redneck, welcome back. So guys, if you're just now coming in, I'm going to put the important piece up here. Decision Desk Headquarters projects Republicans will retain U.S. House majority. That is all three levers of power in Washington. This is a thing. And guys, the power here is all if you don't go to sleep. Honest to God, if you stay awake and you push and you grind and you focus like you focused the last 4 years under the Biden threat, you will be amazed with what you can accomplish. The defensive time is over. We stopped him in the red line, the red zone in the football field, and now we're going to push him back. But that's where we're at, guys. Those are some great questions. It's me, Braden, my brother. It's been a huge honor fighting alongside you for the last 4 years. Thank you, James. I've had the exact same privilege of fighting with you guys, and now we are going to push it back in the other direction. Inducing the 5 stages of grief was just the beginning, and I'll see you guys on the next one. I will see you